they've lost their job. So in these casino-type jobs, it's not just a waiter and a waitress and a bartender. No, you need to have carpenters, electricians, plumbers, roofers, concrete pourers.
A lot of people,
you know.
right.
And once that's done, those jobs don't go away, because in order for that establishment to continue to make money, they have to maintain those buildings with the carpenters, with the plumbers, with the electricians.
Absolutely.
So these are jobs that Americans want to do, especially people that come with the
By the way, I should know this, but I don't. Isn't there a referendum question on the ballot in November? I think there is, about lowering the state sales tax.
Yes, there is. I think it might
that
be.
Isn't doing
it's either
away with
one
it,
or
is
three.
it?
No, it's not.
Just
it's
to lower it.
Restoring it the way it was.
Because they went up to 6.25, I think.
Right.
Oh, they want to just bring it back to where it was?
They just want to restore it to that.
How do you stand on that? You're in favor of that?
Yeah.
Okay. The conservative, huh? Yeah. Well, you know.
Well,
I'd say that the country basically, as a whole, the people are basically conservative.
Yeah, I think it's over 45%.
More. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you out there door to door and plodding along?
I am, and there's another thing that I'd like to mention.
Yeah.
There's the initiative, Senate Bill 23, which is about the initiative petition.
Yeah, tell us what that's about. I saw you had this in your other literature here.
Recently, there was going to be a constitutional convention.
You call it Senate Bill 23?
Yeah, Senate Bill 23
What's
was
that?
a constitutional convention. A con is when the Senate and the House meet together under one roof and make a determination for a change in rule.
I'm aware of that, right.
This particular rule was not found under like a Citizens for Limited Taxation area. It was found by a fathers group who said, wait a minute, look at this. You know what this will do? This will take away the right of the citizens to petition its government.
Senate Bill 23 is it
would
pending?
Have. Well, it is, but they try to do it in a constitutional convention. Well, they opened the constitutional convention and they closed it and never took up this.
What would
piece
this
of
have?
What it would have done is this. Believe it or not, a initiative petition or citizen petition has been part of our government. It goes back to the 13th century of the Magna Carta.
Yeah, I believe
and
that.
Thomas Jefferson and John Quincy Adams and instilled it and enshrined it in our Declaration of Independence in 1776 and our Bill of Rights in 1791. Now, only once did the House of Representatives take away the right to the citizens to redress its government by putting a ballot question out there, and that lasted for 8 years. It incensed John Quincy Adams so much he came out of retirement to fight it, and it took 8 years to restore it.
And it was way back in those
times. And that was
times,
back in like 8 years later.
Yeah.
And so here we are today trying to take the voice that if you have an issue, the Citizens for Limited Taxation would never be able to get a question on the ballot again. The bottle bill would not go on the ballot.
Really?
All these, the citizens' right to redress its government by putting a ballot question on there would have been abolished. They called it the gag rule back in the...
Now this is Senate Bill 23. Has that been voted on
I believe
already?
It's still, no.
Or pending?
Right, it's still there, it's still pending, but
So
I would do
you would be strongly
everything...
opposed to that.
Oh, I would do everything to keep it from being resuscitated.
Boy, it's not getting much publicity. I'm not too much aware of this, but it sounds like a big deal to me.
It's in there. To me, I don't see why. I don't see why any elected official would even consider taking the people's right to vote. That's what the tea parties were all about.
Yeah, right.
The king wasn't listening to them. They dumped the tea in the thing and they got rid of the tax tariff.
Yes, they did.
And here it sounds like, history is repeating itself. But 235 years, we never had a problem with it until now.
I see another thing. This is your literature that you sent me, so I'm referring to this. Well, it comes under your item 6, list your priorities with the state legislature, but you're talking about reviewing the local aid formula to help mitigate some of the impending cuts our towns could be facing. You want to speak to that a little bit, Richard?
Yeah, right now there is a formula in place that and some towns feel as if it should be reviewed after all these years. Take, for instance, Milton and even in Bridgewater areas, you have tax-exempt properties in there. We have 57 acres of Blue Hills in the Milton, Canton area. So in that realm, and then you have churches and colleges and universities and academies and stuff like that. So the formula has to be set in a way, I think that because of what's happened with the lottery funds, they were supposed to go directly to local aid. Well, over the years, some of that money has been diverted to different areas when there was a crisis.
So what are you saying about the churches and all of these?
Well, what we should do is, in lieu of those, some sort of, like for the colleges when they have campus, off-campus housing and stuff, that is not really the campus, so we should look
think
at
that should be
somewhere,
taxed then?
or some sort of mitigating funds that should come to them.
Oh, okay. What are the big points? Now, what would you say? I know you got item 2, jobs are critical to the economy. How would you work to create new and lasting jobs if you're in there?
Well, I have a few ideas, and it would take teamwork. It would take working with the local
Can't do it
communities.
alone, I guess.
No, it would take working with the local elected officials and everything. And one of the ideas that I have is a limited take, for instance, a studio. And this is just given an idea,
Sure.
And we can expand on it. And I could see this legislation coming to pass, and the legislation would be local towns have revolving accounts where, let's say you have a park, you want to maintain it, so you set up a revolving account, and they keep
Call those enterprise accounts, do they? Are they known as enterprise accounts?
Possibly,
I think
but
they
mostly
are. I
in
think
water.
it's-
In water and sewer,
Water
they
and
have
sewer,
enterprise
yeah,
accounts.
yeah.
But
it's the same idea, I
Same
think,
idea.
yeah.
But this money stays in that account.
Yeah.
So that, like, once you've
okay.
raised over $15,000,
Okay.
that 15 stays here. The rest goes to the general fund.
Okay.
The second piece of it is the Securities and Exchange Commission. They have what you call a clawback. You invest in somebody, and then once they make so much money, you get your money back, so you haven't lost much. I'm merging the two together, okay? And it would be a revolving account with a clawback incentive, okay? So what this would do, we would create, let's say the Commonwealth of Massachusetts got in, their movie industry got involved with a limited partnership with Paramount. Paramount comes out and develops a movie. Now, mind you, we've done 20 movies in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 years, three in 2009 and 2 in 2010, grossed $465 million.
These movies were made in Massachusetts?
Yes, they were made
right?
in Massachusetts,
Right.
all of them.
Okay.
Now, here's where my thought process comes in. If we had a limited partnership with any of these studios, and we give them the tax incentive to have the movie, they come in, they produce the movie. Once the movie is done and it grosses a certain percentage, we can get back that money, put it in a revolving account, so when MGM comes in to do a movie, the money is there, the burden is now off the taxpayer, okay?
Yeah.
The other thing is, some people feel that the tax incentive, and they've been stopping it up at the legislature, is not good. My opponent thinks it's a handout to the industry. It is not. When you stop and you think of what that money has done, it's created jobs, it's created revenue. Every one of these actors, it doesn't matter if they're a grip, if they're a producer, if they're the actor, they all pay income tax to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as long as they are here.
Yep.
Now, think of the infrastructure, the local infrastructure. They're patronizing all those different stores, and that's where, we will be able to retain money in the
Okay.
thing and take the burden off the taxpayer.
No, I just want to let you know we're down to 5 minutes, so
Okay.
I think I'm going to kind of, rather than some pick items here, let you kind of talk to something you'd like to impress on our viewers. Anything. You can talk on anything you want.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to take these precious 5 minutes and say thank you very, very much to every single person, all of the different towns that I've been to. I appreciate the hospitality and the kindness they've afforded me. Just an average Joe going back and forth to everyone's
You've been
door.
out around a lot in the district. You're doing door to door and going to different meetings and stuff.
Yes.
What are you hearing from people, Richard? What's the main thing they're talking about when they talk to you?
The toughest thing is jobs.
I would think,
and it's very, very hard.
Jobs and taxes, probably,
jobs in the economy,
And the
and it's
economy,
very difficult to get people, uplifted when they're unemployed. People are concerned about the health care. They're concerned about, their increases in all of their deductibles.
Sure.
Senior citizens that are
Sure.
on fixed income that are now realizing that, wait a minute, they're going to have to change their Medicare program because of these rules. So those are-
Foreclosures, the whole bit, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my interest is to try and work to see if we can come up with some creative ideas,
Good idea.
working with the banking industry, working with the legislature, elected officials, communities and stuff like that.
Yep.
Bring them back into the process. And the best thing, I will be a full-time. I'll be there. These will be my interests. I have no other things. And I will say, there are a lot of issues, but believe it or not, some of them are like a tapestry. they're intertwined in the 10
I would think
communities.
so, yeah.
I'm finding a common thread and a common theme in the areas of
Okay.
concerns, public safety, and
So
so
you
on.
think there's a lot of things that could be done to help our current situation then? If, you could be one
Absolutely.
one cog
If
if
there's
you're in there.
right, if there's a lot,
Yeah.
but it has to be attentive to the issues, all the issues.
Right.
I'm not speaking just saying that I'm going to be an advocate. I've been an advocate for 38 years.
Yeah.
From the time I was
read your
14
stuff
years
here.
old, in high school, in my job, in my community, in every way, and I'll continue to do that. I've had fun doing it.
Very good.
The biggest thing that is to me is the inspiration after I've done something to help a senior citizen who was overcharged in a housing complex. She was there,
Absolutely.
subsidized housing. They charged her double her rent to the tune of over $18,000, and it took me a year,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
and I was able to get her fully compensated back, and it just felt so good.
I'm going to read this statement. I think we're down at like a couple or 3 minutes. I'm watching the clock for both of us. On your literature here, you have a little statement at the bottom. I'll read it, and then you can, anything you
Yep.
want to say. 2 minutes. As your state senator, I will work for the people of our district to restore the monies depleted from the rainy day stabilization fund, to get tax dollars back in the pockets of the working men and women of Massachusetts, giving them the purchasing power to support local establishments by creating jobs within the Commonwealth. That's
Right.
what you've been talking about
Yes.
since you came on
Yeah.
here.
And the
Right?
other thing I want to give is this guarantee.
Yes.
With a proven track record in public advocacy and constituent service, you can trust in my ability to bring the much-needed changes to Beacon Hill
That was on the front of you.
as your full-time state senator.
Okay. And I would presume, because occasionally we have problems, this probably goes without saying, but just talking to you, it sounds like if you are elected, you are in there, you'd be a strong man of ethics. Because
Absolutely.
we've got a couple of speakers in the past that have, one is still under the gun. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I read an article the other day in
You
the
know what I
paper
mean.
about what the chances are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's what.
Some of them got to clean up their act, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, it'll be a strong ethics. I'll be working for the people.
Okay.
If you afford me the public trust and honor me with the public trust, one thing you'll get out of me. I
Okay.
think when the time is said and done, you're going to find that I'm one of the best statesmen you've sent to the state senate in a long time.
The last minute, so you take it. Anything you want to fully add to that, or
Okay.
you're working hard at it, huh?
I am. I'm
Got a
wor-
group of people with you too?
Yes, I do.
Good.
And it's been growing.
You're getting encouraged then.
Since March, I've been out at the subway stations, even out in Braintree, and all of a sudden, like this, the skies opened up, it poured.
Oh.
But my brother and I stayed out there. So my brothers, my sisters, my
It's
family,
a
my
tough trail
friends.
campaigning,
It
boy.
really is.
It
but
really is.
It's been very rewarding. Through it, I had a tough go. My sister, who was working for me, ended up, very sick. And the next thing you know, they found that her gallbladder was gangrene.
Oh, boy.
So she was hospitalized,
Yep,
sidelined
yep.
for about a couple of weeks. She's
Yep.
back. My brother
She's
ruptured
back
a couple
in
of
the
years.
front
He
lines.
was sidelined. He's back at
Good.
it. But the friends and family that I've met, I really, from the bottom of my heart, I say this
Very good.
deeply, sincerely. I really appreciate everything everyone has done.
Richard Livingston, candidate for state senate in, what's the name of the district?
The Norfolk, Bristol, Plymouth
Norfolk,
district.
Bristol. That would be Brian Joyce's present district now.
Yes.
You're running in the Republican primary.
Yes.
Richard, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good
Jim.
interview.
I
Enjoyed it.
appreciate you giving me the
Oh,
courtesy.
listen,
Yeah.